I'm a sufferer of Megillah attention deficit disorder. This is when I sit Megillah and I'm excited. Beginning of Megillah, you're fasting, it's almost over, it's all good. And then after the first haman, you just doze off. Everyone's looking around. It's like, okay, they beg for haman. It's one of those shuls. I went to Washington Heights for it, so I knew when I would get bored, at least I could look over the mechitza and maybe there'd be something to look at, and it would take my mind off the whole like hunger pains and like when am I gonna pound those hamantaschen? I don't drink. My idea of drinking is hamantaschen. No one makes their own hamantashens anymore. This is a conspiracy. Rices and Reismans and all these companies make these hamantashens that all taste the same. They're all like industrial produced in some factory that produces like seltzer or something. Yeah, anyway, back to the Megillah. So I'm sitting at Megillah, and I didn't have a Megillah this year. You know, they ran out of the box of all the fraying old like Maxwell House Megillahs or whatever they have. And I didn't want to hold a stone chumash. The stone chumash is just like, I know I'm not going to pay attention because I know always what happens with the stone chumash. I put up the stone. I'm just like, screw this, man. I'm going to Shemos. Shemos is a good parsha. I'm going to go like by Yigash or something. I'm not sick of Megillah, you know? So I didn't have a Megillah. I tried to get away with the whole art scroll thing. I think the whole YU crowd knew I was just infiltrating them and I didn't really have a Megillah. And I think they can tell that when they say, like, Ish Yehudi, and I had no idea what was flying. Me and my buddy are like, we're like mumbling along, you know, like mumble along. You pretend you know what they're saying with those, like, the response sections in Megillah, but you have no idea what's flying. You don't know, I didn't even have Megillah. Then halfway into the Megillah, some guy went around and gave everyone who didn't have Megillah. Unfortunately, they were Russian Megillahs, and I can't read Cyrillic, so, you know, it was Hebrew, but I want to read the English. I want to, you know, I like the whole garbage throwing scene. I'm all about that, you know, the first, like, you know, food fights. Really into that. So I'm sitting there, and unfortunately, another problem was that I was sitting in the bottom. So the shul is kind of angled up. So I couldn't even do, you know, like sometimes you're sitting so far from the women, you have to squint, and you're like, I don't know, can I see? And I just couldn't do the whole Asian thing. The lighting wasn't right. I was just like, this stinks, man. So I'm sitting there and I'm really bored. And there's only so much, you know, you're shifting your weight. And you're like, you know, it's really hot. I was fanning myself with the Megillah. I felt like I was in like one of those like southern courtrooms with all the black women with the fans sitting up top, and they're, you know, trialing. You know, they're having some trial for someone who lynched someone. You know, and I'm sitting there fanning and I'm like looking around, and you know the lights are, you know, but the lights were perfect. You know why the lights were perfect? Because the lights allowed me to entertain myself. And you know how? I figured out halfway through the Megillah that the lights were shining straight down, and therefore my shadows for my hands, I could do hand fights. I was like kind of eating my hands with like the alligator and the dog, and we're all like having fun. And anyone who was looking at me, God help myself, because if you were looking at me, you must have thought I was completely insane, because I'm looking down, I have this big grin on my face, and I have like this shadow like alligator, and it's eating the dog, and we're like going at it, and my buddy next to me is like, you know, there's people like, you can't talk during Megillah, so you do like the constipated talk. It's not even like, no, it's like, you know, you're like, oh, dude, gotta go to the bathroom. I know you can't leave, but like, you know, maybe there's a heter for that. But there's like this like, you know, you like tap your buddy and like you're like, and you're like, kind of weird. But so you know, I'm sitting there and they couldn't really see the women. I couldn't shift my legs, and then you know, but the greatest accomplishment, my buddy had this such nachas I shot from this. You know, after like the first two haman bangings, insert sexual joke there. I won't do it for you. After the two haman bangings, you can't figure out where you are. You lose your space, because I noticed everyone's intent on reading it. Some people are reading the art scroll. Some people even, the really cool people, the hush of the people want to show off. You know, like people like grab out a sefer and they always read, and you know they're not even learning. The guys who read the scrolls, those guys are like the Megillah pimps. You know, they're like, yo, what's up? I got a scroll. You know, it's like uncomfy. The whole point of the scroll is because you need room for the scroll. So you know you're gonna have like room, and you're gonna have some like weight shifting, and you're, you know, able to put your arms up because you got the whole scroll. No one wants to deal with the scroll. What someone else is gonna hold? It's gonna be like a wedding dress, and they're gonna like go along you. So yeah, you got the scroll. So the greatest accomplishment of Megillah readers, not the people up there, the people following along, it's when you lose your place and you find it again. Usually you find it like right when they're at that point of like the 10 sons in the one breath thing. My buddy found it and it was like, ah, I found where it was. He started talking, he's like, oh, I found it. It's like such like jubilee, like it's like a holiday when you find it. Because when you lose your space in Megillah, you never find it, man. you see people looking and they're counting the pages to the end. They're like, maybe we're here. I'll look at the other guy. Well, his paragraph ends over there, and it's like indented. So maybe I can figure it out or whatever. So he found it actually pretty early on, and it was unfortunate because I was like, I thought we were finished already, man. And the whole point of MADD, Megillah attention deficit disorder, is that you're counting to the end. It's not like I did a whole thing on shul attention deficit disorder. You can't pace. You can't go out and read the bulletin. You have to sit there. You have to listen to every word. It's like Parsha Zachar. So say Parsha Zachar. If they did it like Parsha Zachar, it'd be good. It'd be 30 seconds and it's done. But it's a whole thing. It's a hawk. I hate when they bang for all the hamans. It bugs me, man. But this shul, the bangings were lame, man. It was like, scrawny white, you guys, man. They just don't give the fist, man. They don't have any cap guns. Didn't have any of those pull things that release all the confetti. There were no blowhorns. No one with a chauffeur. They don't know. They also, the problem with this Mount Sinai is that there's carpet. So when you bang your feet, it's muffled. It's like a theater. And the other problem is they don't, the shows with the stenders where you can slam them down, and you always do it by accidentally during the rabbi's speech and everyone looks at you. Real lit fishing shows, everyone puts their sparrow under there and they slam the thing. That's what we needed. We didn't have that. It's just it was not noisy. When it's not noisy, I was doing the whole boo-hoo. I was doing the whole Princess Bride thing, but it didn't work. Some people were mooing, a couple cat calls here and there, but there was just not